Okay, Genesis 8, 10, and 11. And he stayed yet other 7 days, and again he went forth, sent forth the dove out of the ark. And the dove came into him at eventide, and lo, in her mouth an olive leaf plucked off. So Noah knew that the waters had abated from off the earth. You know, eventually God will take away the waters that cause us problems. Eventually they'll go away, and He'll let us move on and carry on. But them waters help us grow in faith. The waters tested Noah's faith. Okay. 1 Samuel 3, 1 through 9. The child Sam and the child Samuel ministered to the Lord before Eli, and the word of the Lord was precious in those days. There was no open vision. So they're serving the Lord. He's serving under Eli, who he is left to. So he's kind of learning from Eli how one ministers to the Lord. And no one heard from the Lord. No one had visions from the Lord. This was not done at this time. Probably not since the time of the judges. It was just not something happened because they weren't in a place to where they could hear the Lord. They rebelled so far from Him that they needed to turn back to Him and seek His Word before they ever considered getting a vision from Him. When we're in rebellion, oftentimes we're not going to hear God's voice because we're not doing what we need to, what we know. So of course He ain't going to give us further instruction of what we don't know. At that time, when Eli had laid down in his place and his eyes began to grow dim so that he could not see. This is common when someone gets old, for their eyes to go, for them not to see as well. Oftentimes with age comes night blindness where they can't see at night because there ain't enough light. And so he's starting to have trouble see, which kind of shows him he's getting old. And as the lamp of God went out in the temple of the Lord, where the ark of God was, and Samuel had laid down to sleep. So it was his duty to keep this lamp lit. And it goes out, not yet gone out. This lamp was supposed to be continually be lit, and that's why he slept there, is to keep it lit. Because this was the original fire God put on it. And the Lord called Samuel, and he answered, "Here am I." And he ran to Eli and said, "Here am I, for you called me." And he said, "I did not call you. Lie down again." And he went and lay down again. Now this would have been the typical response, because nobody calls hears from God. So of course he assumed that it was Eli calling for him. And the Lord called yet again Samuel. And Samuel rose and went to Eli and said, "Here am I, for you called me." And he answered, "I did not call you, my son. Lie down again." Now Samuel did not know the Lord yet, nor was the word of the Lord revealed yet to him. And this is a sad thing. The word wasn't read. He was a minister to the Lord. Yet the word was so devalued that he did not know it. They weren't teaching what the Scripture said. They were simply teaching him to do what the Scripture said with his part. He wasn't learning the Word. He was learning the tasks. Oftentimes, those that grow up in church know how they're supposed to act, but they don't know why. They just know, well, you do this, you do that. And they learn the tasks. They don't learn what the Word says. They learn what they've been taught. That's where Samuel was. He didn't learn the law of Moses. He learned what he was taught by the priest. And the Lord called Samuel again the third time. And he rose and went to Eli and said, Here am I, for you called me. And Eli perceived that the Lord had called the child. So Eli finally figured things out. Therefore Eli said to Samuel, Go lie down, and it shall be, if he calls you, that you shall say, Speak, Lord, for your servant hears. So Samuel went and lay down in his place. You know, when the Lord, we got to be willing to hear the Lord when He speaks to us. Samuel was willing to react because he thought it was Eli. That shows that shows his dedication. He is willing to get up in the middle of the night and go. The Lord knew this of Samuel, and that's why He called him. The Lord ain't going to call us if we ain't ready to go. He ain't going to have us do something when we're unwilling to do what He's already asked us to do.